1 minute in.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
It is 8:01 a.m. and let's call this sucker to order. Roll call. Kelly Strickland, that's me. Alex Zacharias.
Present.
Alderman Randy. Is it Scannell or Scannell?
Think of it with an O in front of it, or Scannell.
Scannell.
Here.
Matt Buchanan.
Here.
And Ken Hutchison.
Here.
Liaison representatives, Beth Lemke, Paul Grahl,
Here.
and Matt Vandenboomen. Thank you very much.
1 out of 3.
Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Agenda.
Second.
We have a movement from Scannell and a second by, I'm gonna take Alex's, no offense.
I'd take Alex's too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wait, do I have to open it for discussion?
No, not that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we need to vote on our tablets, or are we okay vote? Verbal? Great.
Voice vote is fine.
How about approval of minutes
So
from
moved.
August 28th? Mr. Scannell, on it again with a motion.
Seconded.
Seconded by Mr. Hutchison. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are blowing through this like nobody's business. Regular business, consideration with possible action to rank 4 options for permanent art installation utilizing CDBG beautification funds. The options were developed by staff. Ranked options will be presented to the Redevelopment Authority at their October 8th, 2019 meeting for approval. Laura?
Yes, so during our last meeting, we have this wonderful bountiful pot of community development block grant funds that we need to use up. It totals about $27,000. So you guys had requested coming back with some potential options to use those funds. So we developed 4 options for you guys to choose from. That was included in the packet. I don't know if you want me to just run through the slides that I have here real quick as a refresher. And then I figure we can start discussions, and hopefully you came to the table kind of already ranking which ones you're really drawn to. And then we can go from there. Option number 1 is to develop an illuminated Green Bay sign, whether it specifically says Green Bay or GB or some sort of amalgamation of promotional or like Green Bay positive sign. But this would be illuminated and hopefully mobile, so we could place it at different sites depending on if there are events taking place. Like once we get the shipyard development all set up, we could take this down there for a while, kind of move it around the city and really make it interactive and engaging piece for visitors and residents to interact with. Option number 2 is to develop a mural at the shipyard site. The building, my crude, Matt and mine's crude Photoshop image here from Google Earth. That blue building is where, yeah, mural. That blue building is where Breakthrough Technologies Fuel?
Breakthrough Fuel.
Breakthrough Fuel.
The building there.
Breakthrough Fuel is going to be placed there, so it's kind of giving you an idea of what will be in that space. So it isn't just going to be completely flat, full view right across.
And what is that, that building, what are they, where
the mural site?
No, that blue building, what's going to be done there, what is it?
Breakthrough Fuel.
Breakthrough.
What is
they
that?
do logistics.
It's going to be their corporate office.
It'd be a corporate office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A really beautiful office.
Fox Harbor.
And also by the Meyer backstage, they have those up.
Thank you.
Are we confident in the height of that building, that it wouldn't impede on the mural? Or-
Well, I think that's the problem with that one, is that there could be, that the whole area in between could get pretty busy.
They're pretty set, well, to speak.
Yes.
Okay. They're pretty set with the initial footprint of the building, about 40,000 square feet, 2 stories. I mean, they're high stories, but they have talked about future expansion. So they could go over, they could go up.
Okay.
started on option 2?
Yes, thank you.
Option 3 is to commission an original sculpture or art installation. The focus that I placed on this one is really to transform a space. So you can kind of see these two examples. I just picked alleyways because I don't think we utilize our alleyways enough in an artistic manner. But these are, the red one actually is a temporary installation that travels throughout the city, but it's not just a standard sculpture that you see on the sidewalk or everywhere else. It's like, oh, it's a sculpture, cool. This is something that really takes advantage of the location that it's in. So that's kind of where that one's coming from. And then option number 4 is to wrap one of our city buses with original artwork. I actually got some new updated quotes from Green Bay Metro, and I can pass that around if you guys want, but it looks like if we wanted to, including an artist stipend, we could potentially wrap 2 buses rather than just the one initially that I had recommended.
Just off topic, but I've seen where there's the interior of the bus was turned into like an art gallery, art stuff.
They do have internal advertising options, but I don't know how much gallery we're able to do just yet. I'm sure Metro would be open to talking about that. They're really interested in having more art involved in what they do.
So that's like, it's still 13,000 a bus roughly, you're thinking?
It's listed at 12,000 for
12, okay.
a premium wrap. And then I figure if we include artist stipends for the artwork,
Yeah,
We get 2 of them, okay.
Yeah, we want to go premium wrap.
that's right.
or I mean, if
That's
you wanted to get
random.
real nitty gritty, you could break it down into like half wraps and then wrap more buses
Mhm.
with smaller pieces of artwork. So those are the 4 options.
Thanks, Laura. Is there input? from the
I like number 1 and the big rubber ball stuff.
Art commission?
Yeah, I love that. I think that's
Original sculpture.
fantastic. I love the mural that was in the packet. The actual, was that going to be the actual mural, the waves?
No,
Oh,
That
that
is
looks cool.
Japanese.
yep, the Great Waves.
Yeah.
I just photoshopped that.
Oh, okay. That looked really cool.
Artist
But I think whatever's going to be on that is kind of problematical. I with all the development that's going to happen there and stuff in that area, I don't think that's a good place for a mural. We could end up a few years down the road wishing we had placed it someplace else. And the bus wraps, I think are cool, and the moving art piece, but we've just done a bunch of bus wrap stuff.
Yeah, the box wraps.
Yeah, the box wraps, there was something with bus wraps we
Bus
did.
shelters.
Bus shelters.
Was it bus shelters?
Yep,
Okay,
those are gonna be installed later this
right,
month.
yeah.
slash
So
next
I like the idea of the buses, but if I'm gonna start narrowing things down, I think I'd rather go with the lights or that, I know it wouldn't be, I would push that we actually do the ball. I love that. I think that's hilarious. I think that's so creative and cool and fun. I would want that actual piece somewhere in an alley. That would be fantastic, I think.
It's just like an oversized exercise ball, and you could just pump.
Yeah, it's an inflatable
Looks
ball.
like it.
The artist, it's a traveling piece that the artist, he's taken it all across the world.
Really?
But he'll actually visit the site about a year in advance and kind of scope out potential locations to place it. I mean, he's placed it in doorways of buildings or in kind of transit stations and just all of these really odd places you wouldn't normally see a big red ball inflated in. But he'll actually go out a year in advance, kind of scope out locations and then work on the background permitting and
Okay.
permissions and all of that stuff. So it is a traveling exhibit. I'm not sure what his costs are, but it is something that we could look into if you decide to go with option 3.
Well, I think what Randy is maybe responding to, in addition to the specificity of the red ball, is the surprise of it. A commission for my ranking also, number 3 was first, only because, but embracing the notion of surprise. I think the murals, we've been on a real mural jag for a while here in this town, and they're great, I like them. But it would be nice to introduce something that was surprising and delighting, which I think the rubber ball certainly accomplishes. But there are lots of examples of things that are, anytime you see something giant and unexpected in the place, it's usually delightful and surprising. And then the lit signs I had as number 2, although I think we have the good fortune, I guess, of being a city that doesn't really need more branding. We have the advantage of being a super well
No.
branded city. Although it would be interesting to see that without the Packers
Yes.
attached to it. Yes.
So, part of the reason the letters, I talk about letters all the time here. I put that one in there.
He does.
So where I have an issue with, for those who don't know me, my name's Ken Bunk, I'm the development director for the city. I sometimes have an issue that our brand is almost like too good. And that is, it becomes, it's easy for me because I don't have to explain a lot of times what Green Bay is, right? I mean, the Packers precedes us and helps, give us a geographical location. What doesn't help is that B-roll footage that shows like the frozen tundra and the cows and the cheese curds and all that kind of stuff. And so I think part of the letters was to have a spot where people would both, locals, visitors, photograph themselves, advertise or add some additional B-roll footage, but put those letters in a place where you actually get like our skyline in the background, or you get the shipyard, or you get other things that are maybe like beyond the Packers, to help start associating us with being an urban city, an artful city, and more of a vibrant city. And I think that's to maybe not change the brand, but like deepen the brand. And that's some of the reason for that piece. And I think I appreciate, what this committee is doing, because I think that is doing it overall. What we're doing with this arts in the community. But that's just kind of the juxtaposition of the reason I put those letters in, is just help diversify that brand.
Certainly lightens it up.
It would be interesting, because I always, to entice people into town, I'll say, you ought to come to Bahia Verde. Just sounds sexy, it's like a destination place, like in the island. So I'm wondering what that would look in different languages, because it's easily translatable, Green Bay. I know that's more costly, but it'll have the surprise aspect to it too. I also like the commissioned artwork as well. So I guess the commissioned artwork as 1 and 2 would be the Green Bay.
No.
I'm going to give a pitch to the shipyard mural, actually. And, well, there's a couple good reasons for that. One is, while there might be some concern that in the future that Breakthrough might expand and cover that mural from the perspective of the container park at the shipyard, we're actually planning to have Bridge Street go through right there, right in front of that mural, and have it be more of a pedestrian and bicycle access, and incorporate several pieces of art on that street that goes to the river. So it'd actually be a primary entrance into the shipyard and to the river. And right now, if the way that building looks from the shipyard, it's quite the eyesore. We know that building won't be going anywhere anytime soon. So that's my little pitch.
Well, that's information you didn't share earlier. I think that's a.
Is-
What was your number 2? I'm sorry.
My number 2 is going to be the letters. I agree with Kevin's point. It's about deepening the brand, and it kind of just speaks to, making Green Bay a bit more urban.
Is Breakthrough exempt from the percent for the arts because they're local already?
Their agreement was
Grandfather.
done before.
Okay.
Would they be interested?
Yeah, we can go back. I think what we're doing on the whole site, part of that percent for the arts is to be able to get public art right around our development, and I think we're going to be doing that anyway with a lot of the funds that we're investing in the shipyard. Having specific spots for public art, including it's going to be public all the way around the waterfront there. That's all public space, so there'll be some more art in there as well.
Yeah, it could even be leveraged further if they were willing to throw some in the dough. Anyways, so
that is a massive, massive wall.
Right.
And it's not the greatest material to put a mural on. I've checked it out. I think every muralist in Green Bay has like kind of drooled over that spot because everyone sees it from Mason Street. And that $23,000 definitely would be, 27, yeah, would be eaten up for sure by that one.
We have met with the property owner and they are interested in working with us on this project,
Mhm.
so we could probably get more funds.
Okay. That could be cool. I think it could be really neat. I think, though, that an art commission, you know, sculptural material would be more, that money would go further with, because I agree also with Kelly that we've seen a lot of murals go up, and they have a strong impact, but I think sculptures, maybe I'm a little biased, but I think sculptures have a stronger impact with associating identity with our culture. And you know, since our conception in 2016, like branding has been one of our primary goals, is branding ourselves as the arts and cultural entity Green Bay. So I like the sign idea too for that reason. I don't think it's very artistic though. That's a branding mechanism, which I think is a great idea. However, this is money that's supposed to be allocated to our urban art initiative. And I think if we do put, like the Deep Pier alley, have you guys checked that out? It's wicked cool. They just made an alley like that. And Naomi Moles Jenkins and Shanna Colts designed it. Naomi is a sculpturist and Shanna is a photographer, so they put these enormous photographs up in there, and Shanna did that part, and then Naomi did the giant beads.
Beautiful.
I
So,
just officiated a wedding. I officiated a wedding in that alley
oh,
last
did you?
week.
They're having weddings there now?
I did like airplane seating and the
It
string
took all
quartet.
of 1 week before it was completed.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it was cool.
it's completely changed that area, and I guess I didn't realize the scope at which they had visualized. I don't know if you've been through that alley in Deep Pier, but it was just like the
Where is it?
dumpsters.
Where
Where
is
is
Right
it?
next to Nikki's.
Next
Is it
to
on Main
where?
Street?
Yeah,
Main
Main
Street.
Yeah.
Nikki's?
So Nikki's is like
Nikki's Pub.
big bar.
Pasquale's is on the corner of that block, and then you halfway down. So just as
Up
you
on it.
cross the bridge into
Yep.
West of here.
Luna Cafe is directly across the street.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's on the
Okay.
other side,
All right.
okay.
Yeah.
The St.
So-
Norbert
Coffee.
side. Right.
Yeah.
It's the only alley in that line of
Okay,
buildings,
got it.
so.
And there was like the back alley was kind of seedy, there was,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
dumpsters were in there.
Yeah.
But they worked with the city and they got all that stuff moved out, and then they had this commission to do an art installation, and it's like, people are having their weddings in there now.
Yeah, and people were crashing the wedding and the rehearsal because they just wandered around
Wanna
and
go.
didn't
Yeah.
realize we had an
Yeah.
event going on.
But most importantly, I think, it achieves what public art should achieve, which is it puts the resources in the hands of artists to come up with something that we're not going to come up with as a collective sitting at this table. And especially one of the attractive things about something like the rubber ball, not exactly the rubber ball, is that it's mobile. That's a really nice element of that particular installation. So you can transform multiple locations.
I think a giant, bead, giant.
Just
anything.
big, whatever
Yeah.
it is, just big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
A
Ken,
foot,
I'm sorry,
a
what's
foot
your
stuck in
Number
there.
one would be the original sculpture, and number two would be the mural.
Original sculpture, you mean like in the alley, that, the number 2 option is your number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah,
number
I
three,
think we're-
number
and
3
three
option is
your
my number
one.
1, and then the mural number 2
Got
option
it.
would be my
Okay.
number 2.
Were you talking the alley on Dousman?
Yeah, I guess I haven't even thought about, that was a good point to bring up alleys, Laura, but, because I haven't considered that in Green Bay yet, but we have a lot of alleys downtown.
Behind Dousman, or behind Broadway and Chestnut would be a good one, also between City Deck and Washington.
Yeah, probably that one.
We're currently at a tie for option number 1 and number 3.
Did Alex vote yet?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alex
Is it?
voted
Yes, I do.
Oh,
for 1 and 3.
I know
One
you
and
voted,
three.
I know you spoke.
But does one get more, like, precedent?
is the RDA interested in selecting the final? Like if they present two options, like these are the two options that tied PAC, which option would you like to move forward with?
1 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, they can decide. I mean, I think they would probably, they're generally pretty good about deferring
Yeah.
to staff and then deferring to the committees that make the recommendation. And I'm not going to speak for them, but they'll say, we're on the Public Arts Commission, what do they recommend? So they're probably going to want a rank order.
recommendation,
one.
yeah.
And if there's a fatal flaw with like your first choice, then they'll say, okay, at least we got a backup. But they'd probably take a rank order.
Didn't we vote for 3?
Yeah.
Vote for 3?
Yeah.
3,
Three's number one,
1.
and one is number two.
Okay. I guess that wasn't clear.
Well, I
Okay.
have- So for the number one choice,
Is number
two
three.
people have voted for the signs. And 2 people have also voted for it's tie and tie.
Oh.
Like,
Well, I don't think I said, I don't think I graded them. I said,
I thought you said letters.
I think you said
You
1,
letters and
3,
alley.
2, and 4.
What's your number
Oh,
one, Randy?
you see, okay, I was just going through them chronologically, the way they were, kind of
Oh.
like, but my number one would be 3. My
Number one
number,
is the ball.
yeah, my number 2 would be 1.
Okay.
And can I now that I got more information?
Yes.
I would make the mural number 2.
You make mural number 2, not the ball.
No. The
Ball
ball was
No,
always
the
number
letters.
1,
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
okay.
me.
This is what why
Alley
don't you
mural.
read out what you have, okay, because this sounds like confusion. Laura, what do you read what you have?
For Alex?
For everyone.
So Randy initially had 1, 3, 2, and 4 as the options.
But, yeah.
Laura, do me a favor, instead of numbers,
choice.
Sorry.
just say like, if it's the letters, the mural,
Um,
the ball, or the.
Okay,
bus.
and don't go with my initial, just, because I wasn't,
Randy is in favor of the installation and the letters. Kelly was in favor of the installation and the mural. Alex?
No,
No.
letters.
Letters. I
Did you
have
change it
letters.
to letters? Okay, yep, letters.
That's what I had.
Alex was in favor of the letters and the installation.
But I just.
No.
no, go with the latest, don't go with
I didn't get the list.
Installation.
installation and mural.
and mural.
Also, my pen isn't
Installation.
working.
Oh, okay, installation
Ball
and
and
mural.
mural.
Yeah,
Yes.
ball and mural.
Matt is in favor of the mural and the letters, and Kent is in favor of the installation and the mural.
Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 people
Me too.
say that the ball or installation is number 1.
Right.
I think we should hear from our liaisons too,
Mhm.
just to weigh in and just,
I would go with the installation and the mural.
okay. And any rationale behind that, Paul?
I like Matt's pitch about, the fact that that is going to be a public access, and it is kind of an eyesore, and also looking over from Mason Street, I think that would make a nice impression. And the art, right away I was picturing that little section on Dousman, which, is kind of, it's getting, it's stepping up and looking nice, and I just think it would kind of add that whimsy and kind of just make a nice bookend of what we've been doing on Broadway.
To have a sculpture there.
Yeah, it's just something, fun, and, because it seems like people just stay on that section of Broadway and don't really turn the corner, which there's some nice stuff going on there, so.
And let me just add, we'd have to, there's a number of things we'd have to do in order to figure out, which installation, which alley, but placemaking, so the better block, right? Now, we wouldn't want people to have a car accident there, but maybe people would slow down potentially at that little section. Beth?
I am in favor of the installation and then the mural. For a lot of the same reasons, I think with the talented artist, I'd rather see something created and the right location, the right home for it. The mural, I get the visual appeal, whereas we've got multiple, but again, based on the commission, I think and the number of artists, maybe that's one where it's not just one individual, it's a community, more of a community, maybe it's a community mural effort or something that's led by a different, so it's, because it's such a big space.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to hear from staff at this point.
Something simple.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of them are awesome. I mean, in terms of adding things to the community, I didn't hear anybody rank the bus wraps, but I think it's important too. I think Kent, I think you made a point in terms of discussion between like branding and then the art piece. I think it's important that, in terms of whatever is not selected here, I mean, this is just one funding source. I think these are 4 projects that we should all continue to work on. It's just a matter of this particular funding source, what we're going to do. But I think that also helps kind of prioritize what are the things we could try and get done if there's support here for that.
Yeah, they're all definitely exciting. And it's great that they're all on the table being discussed. Probably we'll get them all done in
I hope
2
so.
years.
Probably. All right, any further discussion on the ranking of the 4 options? Thank you for doing all that legwork and putting that together that way, Laura. That was really helpful.
Does the installation need to be in an alley? Is it limited to an alley?
I would say no.
Yeah, no?
I would say no. I'd say like,
I only say it because I'm a letter fan, and I wasn't. He pitched the letters, and I'm like, no way, that's too boring. And then I traveled and went,
And she
oh
texted
my
me a
God.
picture from Toronto with herself in front of the large letters there.
Toronto, Cleveland, New York, I mean, everywhere, and there were millions of people around him, and everybody thought it was cool, and so he sold me on the letters, but I'm just thinking, DePere did the alley. I mean, do we have to, can we be original? I love the alley in DePere. Oh, Green Bay's doing an alley too. I mean, then
Yeah,
we
I
can
mean,
always
I
follow
would think
DePere.
that, isn't these funds
we
are
do it
limited
someplace else?
to certain
Correct.
pockets, right?
Can we just
So-
like define it as maybe like an installation in like a cool
I
spot
think-
that's not necessarily an alley?
Like
The alley
legit
could
a
be
deck
cool,
of the
but-
parking ramp.
Yeah, something,
Yes.
right, something that could be, different, or,
Yeah.
that'd be my only comments with that.
I think there should be some parameters on a call, but not so many parameters as to say we want an alley with bees.
I was gonna say, I think the focus of this project is really transforming a space, whether it's an alleyway or a parking ramp or whatever have you, the entryway of a building or something. Having that space transformed in a unique way, not just, oh, there's a sculpture there, oh, there's a painting. Having something that really makes people stop. I think that's kind of the emphasis, not specifically alleyways.
so it would be an original sculpture commissioned to help define a certain space in
Or-
Green Bay.
Yeah.
I prefer installation.
Installation, sure.
I prefer installation.
Installation is fine.
Agreed.
So do we want to say permanent? You have 6 months to 10 years, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge, you could get a whole lot of different stuff there. I'm thinking we might want to push the 6 months to like a 1 year, at least 1 year. If we're going to spend $27,000 on it.
What do you mean by 6 months to?
I'm sorry, on the outline of this.
I think Kent is speaking on the duration of the piece.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it says, it's outlined as being installed and on the site for 6 months to 10 years, I believe. Yeah, I think,
At least a
we
year.
At
wanna-
least a year.
yeah.
At least a year, yeah. I'm hoping longer.
I was thinking more of a permanent, this would be
Permanent.
more of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
permanent piece.
Yeah,
For that kind of.
27 grand is.
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we would change a little bit of the verbiage before we do the call, but yeah, I would be in favor of calling it a permanent piece. Was there any purpose to make it 6 months, Laura, that maybe I'm not considering?
Speaking with Krista, as far as using these funds, it has to be something that lasts at least 6 months.
Okay.
So I put that in as the
Fair
option
enough.
in case.
Requirements of the fund, the federal strings.
Yes.
All right.
Does it need to be installed in a specific,
It needs to be installed within the CD.
within the CDBG
within the
areas, right?
eligible
Okay.
Locations.
Is there a cost for upkeep, for keeping it, if we were to extend it, is that something to consider?
I don't think we can use this funding source and
maintenance.
save it for maintenance. That isn't what we can use this
It's
for.
not eligible.
We're working on that plan though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're working on a maintenance plan.
that's part of fundraising.
Okay.
All right, anyone else from staff to weigh in? Excellent. That takes us to, consideration with possible action. So our action was just the ranking of them, correct?
Correct.
All right.
As recommendations.
Yeah. We need to vote on it.
So, yep.
So what's the ranking?
I think
3.
your
Installation?
number one option is the installation.
What's the number 2?
Well, let's
Two
see.
is the mirror.
So,
Mural?
1, 2,
I think
3
it's the sign,
people
actually.
mentioned the letters as the number 2, and 1, 2, 2 people mentioned the mural as the number 2, and Paul and Beth mentioned the mural as their number 2.
Kind of a wash.
But from the commission, the number 2 was the letters.
That's true. Okay, so then I'll make a motion to pass our recommendation for these as option 3 as our first choice, option 1 as our second choice, option 2 as our third choice, and option 4 as our fourth choice.
So move. Second.
Aye.
Well, you might have to do that.
Oh. Do you need to vote on your pads?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we'll vote on that.
4, right, okay.
So where do I go for that? Oh, I
Okay.
see, okay.
Mine did
3,
not
1,
vote.
2, 4, right.
Okay, you guys popped up right
And
in.
then bus. Okay.
I'm gonna be a problem child. Again.
What's new, right? Do you want us to enter your vote?
Sure. Aye.
That's unanimously.
Yes.
Yes. Great. Passed unanimously,
All right.
it appears. All right, that takes us to the informational section of the agenda, discussion with Parks Director. Nope. Dan is not here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dan had a meeting that he could not avoid. But I believe, if not Dan, there will be members from the Parks Department joining us next month because we will be discussing the East River Trail Plaza project, discussing the submissions that we've received at that meeting. So there will be Parks people here to talk then. Speaking from my side, I am working with the Parks Department on a few things, the plaza. And then I also met with James just this past week. He's kind of responsible for programming and setting up new programs within the Parks Department. We talked about a lot of ideas for increasing arts programming that they can offer at the park. So we came up with a lot of really cool ideas. When I get back, we're gonna start looking at potential artists who may be interested in teaching. So if you know of artists who do something really unique and are good at teaching or are interested in teaching, send them my way, because then we'll look into potentially having them teach some classes in the parks.
They would get paid?
Yep.
Right.
Where this is it might be a good time to reconvene with Mosaic now that they've had leadership change there, because creating a roster of teaching artists was something that they had started to undertake in the past, and I know they kind of didn't, there's been some legwork done on this, so it should at least be looked at to see what's been done so
Okay.
far.
That'd be awesome.
And I know that Sylvia is excited to continue that work. So you might have a good not-for-profit partner in that endeavor.
Okay.
Cool. So instead of Dan, we do have, so maybe we should have amended this at the beginning, because discussion with
ED department.
I don't know if they're interested in talking with you.
Oh,
Yeah, they just came to
He's
throw
here
a
to
market.
advocate for those letters.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I thought we were swapping
No.
departments here.
No.
No.
Okay.
No, they're-
No, we
Yeah,
need
I don't know if
PowerPoint.
that
We
would
need full
be
show.
properly
I was
noticed.
say,
Sorry.
that would have been good.
Kevin,
if
that
I
would
was
be a different
thinking.
tie, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I need a-
He did
a
not
quick
wear his
change.
presentation.
No, I didn't wear my correct stuff.
Sorry.
Anything else from you, Laura, as an update or report?
As far as item number 1, or
Anything.
We have number 3.
Oh, I thought
did we
you,
just skip over yours?
we did. I don't really have anything to report, other than, just for my own clarification, and maybe it would benefit the rest of the commission. It is official now that the next time we will be reviewing grant proposals will be, we moved it to a quarterly schedule, correct?
Yep.
And the next time will be in November?
We have put a hiatus on our grant program until further funding is received.
Got it,
So
okay.
even though we've established a schedule, it's on pause.
If we were not on hiatus, when would the next time be?
It would be November.
Okay, that's
Maybe we'll have funds by then.
Brings me to a question.
great.
Do you have anything else to add to that, Kelly?
I don't.
Okay. As far as my report, we're gonna be installing our bus shelters. We wrap 10 shelters. We're gonna be installing those later this month / early October, depending on how the weather works out and what their installation team has on the docket. But those will be going up, and we'll be notifying you, because we're hoping to have a big unveiling of the 10 pieces. Sidewalk stamps, I'm waiting to hear back on contractors of when they're gonna start installing the concrete. It could be more like October that those go in. But we have the stamps at least, and we can put them in as we get concrete that goes in.
Have they committed to this year?
I mean, they're putting concrete in, it's just a matter of, I don't know, it's a moving target of when they're actually installing it.
Sure.
And then.
She doesn't have a firm date.
So October's meeting we're having on the 23rd, but you had mentioned the November meeting. I would like to ask you guys when you're interested in actually scheduling that, because the way it's set up right now for our normal meeting schedule, it's the day before Thanksgiving. And
yeah.
something tells me that that might not work out. It's so hot.
That is correct.
So are you interested in moving the meeting up to the 20th of November? Or potentially pushing it
I'd be good.
back a week to the 4th of December?
I'd be in favor of that move.
December, me too.
Then are you interested in canceling the December meeting altogether, since that one would have landed on Christmas Eve or Christmas?
That's,
Yeah. We could kill 2 birds with one stone, maybe.
Yeah.
well, what if we move it to the 11th and we just, that'll be like November and December?
And December. Since we're not reviewing grant proposals, that might be a,
Okay, so move it to December 11th, and then just, that'll be the meeting for both months.
I'll be
You
at a
okay with
conference, I
that?
think,
Yes.
in LA, but if you guys have a quorum, that's not a big deal.
I'm available that day,
What day?
the 11th.
I'm out on the 11th, but if you have a quorum,
Oh,
proceed.
Conference in LA?
you could phone it in.
my apologies, I'm not available on the 11th. I'm available on the 18th or the 4th.
Okay.
How about the 4th?
4th works for me.
What works for me?
4th?
Yes, that's it, if the 4th works.
4th,
All right, I will change that
even
then
though it's our second
to the
choice.
4th.
It's the 4th.
Very good.
Other than that, that's all I have.
With the bus stops, is that gonna be each one, there's gonna be like a ribbon cutting or whatever, or are they gonna just, how are they gonna work that? Because they're all over the place.
Yeah, they're spread out. I don't know how we want to do that just yet. Celsi and I need to talk on that. Maybe we just unveil kind of one and then hand out maps to the other 9 at that event.
Or we could take a bus to each one.
That would be
And the
good.
media could go and.
I could
I'm not
talk,
sure that they're all in one route.
No, well, they could,
Special bus route.
special bus route.
shelters.
We got buses for that.
Actually.
Maybe you can do a trolley.
I totally.
So
would.
that's something I can investigate.
That would be fun.
Will there be giant scissors?
Usually.
We have giant scissors.
Usually a giant.
I got ribbon too.
I will be there then. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded.
Scannell and Hutchison are on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I know, I did
It's
it
fine.
on purpose.
Yeah. And-
Oh, give me the whole.
I caught that. I caught that. But you know what? I answered anything, including some other things besides.
Too late, Randy, you're forever Scannell.
Yeah. Scandal. My students used to call me Mr. Scandal.
Mr. Scannell. Yes.